Hi, I'm Tony Reese, and welcome to My Life Lessons Showcasing Veterans. My special guest today is Raymond Leibold. Welcome, Raymond, to this Life Lessons project.
Thank you.
So take a moment, Ray, and tell us where you served and how long you served.
Okay, I served in the United States Army. I was drafted, and I entered New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, and went from there on a troop train in the stockyards of Chicago for my 19th birthday. From there, I took the northern route into Washington State, Salem, Oregon is where I spent my basic training, and then down in Southern California. And I was on the quartermaster corps that served in the desert of South California and Yuma, Arizona desert. And the maneuvers that were done by General Patton on the desert, we served the troops. Our outfit was shoe repair, clothing repair, tent and webbing, and canvas and webbing, and we were in the desert for about 11 months and living in a tent, a 16 by 16 pyramidal tent. There were about 6 guys to a tent, and we moved a lot of times, about 7, 8 times. We moved to different locations, and after that we were transferred on the troop train to Fort Francis E. Warren, Wyoming, where we took some training and field exercises, and I learned to use the 50 caliber machine gun in Camp Carson, Colorado, and I was given a medal for expert rifleman, and we then moved into Guernsey, Wyoming, for field maneuvers. And Guernsey, Wyoming is the location where the land trains moved across the country in the Conestoga wagons to Oregon and Washington State, and that's where the wheels of the Conestoga wagons are still engraved in the stones out there. Where they went through the limestone areas, the wagon trains would put a mark in the limestone, and from there we moved into Fort Devens, Massachusetts, and that's where I had my wife come up, then my girlfriend, and we became engaged. It was July 4th, July 12th, I guess, is her birthday. She had a vacation for a week, and she came up to see me. And from there, we went to Europe. I went into France, across the English Channel, up Normandy. 4 months later, of course, after the invasion. And then I was into Cherbourg. And from there we went to the Paris area, and the peace treaty was signed, and then we went into Belgium after the peace treaty was signed, and we collected heavy coats and all kind of stuff to put them into the laundries and washed them, cleaned them up, and baled them up, and then they put us on a troop train, traveled to southern France, Arles staging area, and that was an indication we were going to go overseas. One of the big signs was loose lips sink ships, and we went aboard the ship in the Mediterranean Sea, past the Rock of Gibraltar, through the straits. Saw North Africa on the left, very close. It looked as though you could touch them. In the Atlantic Ocean and down through, we got into Panama, and they dropped the first atomic bomb. And we went from there through the Panama Canal and to a little town called Balboa. A little town there on the Pacific side of the canal.
And how long were you there, Ray?
I was away for 3.5 years. 3 years. 3 years, sorry.
Okay.
Now, the reason we were aboard the ship was because we were getting ready for the invasion of Japan. And in the meantime, our ship was in a tornado, and it was a twin screw ship, and it broke one of the propellers, and we were late coming in. But in the meantime, they had dropped the second atomic bomb, and they wouldn't give us any information aboard the ship. The ship's name was Japara, and we moved into Atlantic, New Guinea, and when we moved into Atlantic, New Guinea, they told us the war had been over for 2 weeks, and we never knew it.
Oh, my goodness.
And they didn't know what to do with us. After they cleaned out the ship, they left us off the ship for half a day or so to clean up the inside of the ship. And after we were cleaned up, they took us back to Manila. In the harbor at Manila, they didn't know what to do with us there, so they took us around the next day to Luzon, and we climbed down the ladders on the landing craft and went into Luzon, and got aboard a ship, got aboard a train there, and went back to Manila.
My goodness, I can only imagine if we had, we need to interview again because I can only imagine the stories in that journey. But let's go into the project. It's so interesting to hear what you have to say. So during all of this time that you were in service, who or what inspired you during that time?
Well, you had to keep doing what you were told to do, and you learned to obey orders, and when somebody told you to do something, you did it. And who inspired me? Well, I had some good friends, and I can't say any special person would inspire me. However, one of the guys that was in the service with became the best man at my wedding, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he, as much as I know, he's still living in Stony Creek.
In Stony Creek?
Yeah.
Well, what's his name? Do you remember?
Robert L. Hare.
Okay, well, maybe he will watch this.
Maybe he will.
Maybe he will. All right. During that time of service, Ray, what was your greatest life lesson that you learned?
To do what you had to do, to keep your mind on what your job was, and kind of being dedicated to your job. Yeah. Okay.
So focus, dedication.
Focus, being focused.
And did you apply those lessons after service?
All the time.
Can you give me an example? Was there a work experience, a personal experience?
Well, I worked for the telephone company. I had 38 years service with the telephone company, and it was only because of my wife that I got into the telephone industry. I enjoyed it, and I started at the bottom as a lineman and worked up to cable helper, cable splicer, a lineman. It was a good start.
So the dedication that you had to, and focus helped you.
And then I was asked if I wanted to move ahead and in what department I wanted to move ahead in, and I chose the engineering department, and I spent 30 years in the engineering department.
My goodness, that is dedication.
And
well, I want to ask you a question regarding this life lesson and this experience in the career you had too. While you were in service, how did that experience impact your life? How did it affect you?
that is a difficult question, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
When I was in Needles, California, on July 4th, 1944, I was called into the office and given a piece of paper that I was to become a postmaster for the company. It was in the morning. In the afternoon, I was called back into the office. And when I went back into the office, I was given a notification that my mother had died. And of course, I was given permission to go back home for a 15-day pass. Spent time on a railroad station. That was a tough time in my life, really, really tough time. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I had no idea what I was going to do. And then my wife, at that time girlfriend, came to see me at Fort Devens, Massachusetts, and I asked her if she would marry me, and she agreed. And if it wouldn't have been for that, I probably would have stayed in the service. Mm. So that was a big change in my life.
Mm-hmm. And there was a chain of events that occurred that brought you to the service, yes?
Yes.
So, 2 final questions in the project, Ray. What does honor mean to you?
Honor?
Honor.
That's number one.
How so?
Honor, you live by what you're taught to do, and you honor your superiors. I don't really know how to answer that any more than that.
I think you did. I think that was a wonderful answer. You do what you honor, the commitment is what I'm hearing.
Commitment in life, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, final question. What does freedom mean to you?
Oh, That's the most important thing in the world. We have to have freedom. We can't let it go down the drain. We have to inform our politicians or whoever it is to keep the peace and keep the idea that this is the country to only one like it in the world, and maintain actually the status quo, I guess you'd say. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes. What an honor and a privilege it is to talk to you today and to include you in this project. Thank you so very much for doing this today.
Well, I've only given you the short story.
I know.
There's a lot in between.
And we
an
will
awful lot
that.
In between.
And we will revisit that with you, I hope, someday. But for now, thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
These life lessons are made possible in part by Tompkins Vist Bank, Lords and Ladies Salons, and Riverfront Federal Credit Union.